just like every other chamber and board of trade across Ontario, we all had to switch up what we do very quickly and differently when COVID hit in March 2020. So I like to think that, I'm accepting this award on behalf of all small and mid-sized chambers right across the province, and particularly our ones right here in Muskoka. But you're asking me for the who, what, where, and when, so I'll give that to you. In May 4th is the Ontario Chamber of Commerce annual meeting and convention. And they represent 135 boards of trades and chambers of commerce across the province. And every year they give out different awards. And this year they created something called the Power of the Pivot Award. Ironically, I've come to really despise the word pivot. And so it's kind of funny that this ended up happening this way. And in the 5 years that I've been attending these awards, I've never seen a small chamber win an award. I'm sure that maybe they have in the past, but they always seem to go to the bigger chambers. So anyway, they at the Kitchener-Waterloo and Cambridge chambers, they ran a pilot test program on the rapid testing program. And I think that you've interviewed people about the rapid testing program we're doing across Muskoka. And so they were selected out of all chambers across Canada to run this pilot program. So it perfectly made sense when they were announced as the winner of the Power of the Pivot Award. But then they caught me off guard. Then they said, these are big chambers. In fact, the Cambridge Chamber is one of the 3 largest in Canada. And they said there were so many nominations and such quality of the nominations that they decided to provide an award so we could stand up there with Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge for the smaller and mid-sized awards chambers. I get nervous about this because I still can't believe this happened. So I was sitting there, in my office, and they announced us that they had selected us for the Power of the Pivot Award for a small to mid-sized chamber. I'm proud to say that with 340 members, we are now a mid-sized chamber, and we won. So then, of course, I had to hear about why we won, because again, many of the things that we did, so many chambers were doing. But you'll recall that back, I guess spring last year, that you had myself and David Brushy of Muskoka Futures on talking about the Muskoka Recovery Fund. And so I need to go back in time a little bit, because our big pivot was actually pivoting government thinking. And early on in March, I knew right away that from what I was seeing, that our businesses might fall through the cracks. They were counting April 2019 revenue versus April 2020 revenue. And if you remember, in April 2019, we had flooding going on. So some of our businesses were already down in revenue. So I saw that right away. And I went to David Brushy of Muskoka Futures, and I said, let's go to the district and let's get them to put some money up. And it took 14 weeks of pivoting government thinking, like I say. We talked to local municipal politicians, we talked to district politicians, we talked to federal politicians. We explained to district, if you put up 750,000, we think we can get 1.2 million from FedNor. I have to tell you that David Brushy and his team since then grew that fund to $5.5 million directly for Muskoka businesses.
Wow.
So I'm really proud of, in my part, in that I had the idea and I did the first reach out to people, but I have to say it was David Brushy who really rolled with it. And also Brenda Rhodes of the Bracebridge Chamber, when she heard that we were doing this, when I talked to the other chambers, she immediately jumped on board as well. And then so did others. So it rolled from then on in, and that was the big pivot. That's a big deal for a little chamber to be able to start something that ends up in a $5.5 million fund.
Oh, for sure. That's amazing. And it sounds like the award is well deserved. By the way, I should ask you, does the award come with a statue of Ross Geller holding a couch? That would be amazing if it did.
I have to show you the award, and then I'm going to have to put a white sheet behind it because it's transparent. So that's what it looks like.
Okay.
And it's Ontario. It's the province of Ontario. Now I'm going to put a white sheet in blind because you can't see it really. Now I can't see, but that's what it looks like. And it's hefty.
Yeah, you can see that.
But it's really hard to take a picture of it. So it was really exciting for us. We're really, really happy about it. And the other thing is they I don't know why our story got so much attention, but early on, Metroland did a story about us and called us a shining beacon of light during the pandemic. And the Toronto Star picked that up and talked about small chambers. So that was mentioned. And James, I didn't even know who had nominated us. I found out later that I need to thank Patricia Arney, Annette Pecunier, and Spencer Moreland. And apparently there were others involved, and I still don't know who all nominated us. So when they started talking about that headline, I realized I think they're talking about us. And then they talked about the Muskoka Economic Recovery Fund. They talked about us and our involvement with the other chambers and propelling the idea forward of having a Muskoka Emergency Response Task Force, which meets weekly. And they look at which ways they can support businesses. And of course, we did a whole bunch of other things. One of our first Zoom meetings, and I was used to using Zoom in my past life, but other people were, just coming on and learning it. We had the mayor on and we got Zoom bombed, which was horrible, but it really taught us a lot about digital security. And I was thinking, oh, this is horrible. People are talking all over each other. But afterward, people came to me and said, like, we've never video conferenced before. You taught us how to do this. Like, that may seem like a really little thing. And then from there, we had to move it to a bigger thing. So we did a lot of digital training. And now our big exciting project. So, and I'd ask you to talk to me about it another day, but considering we really are launching this week, and it was part of this award, was shopmuskokalakes.ca.
Okay.
So we have created an online multi-vendor marketplace, and we have looked at them from across North America. We want to take on Amazon. That's what we're doing. That's our big, hairy goal, is we're going to take on Amazon, because Amazon doesn't give money to the local hockey team, right? Yeah. And people have learned to shop online. They're never going back. And we looked at it and we said, but we want to do more than Amazon. We want to be able to support shopping local in a myriad of ways. So on our site, you can shop right on our cart. So we have people that have never even online banked now selling their items on Shop Muskoka Lakes. And we've taught them how to online bank. And this is great. It's a lot of work, but lifting people up that way and giving them that opportunity, it's really exciting and it's really fulfilling. And then we have mature brands like Pure Muskoka that have been selling online for quite a while now. And then we've got people who don't want to sell online, but want us to drive people to their store or to start conversations about building custom furniture. So I can say with a great deal of confidence, because we've looked at them across North America, that our shop online site has more ways to interact with local stores than any other one in North America. And I'm pretty excited about that.